Hello everyone, welcome to Personal Scope Learning Services Learning Court. This is actually a community where we provide valuable information that will help to enhance the learning capacity of learners in tertiary institutes, in universities, in secondary schools, and even in basic science level. And so today we'll be providing valuable information that will help to enhance the learning capacity of students. I must tell you that this is not just meant for students per se, it's meant for the teachers, the guardians, the parents, anyone that actually have one thing or the other to contribute in helping a child learn better. And so in PSL Services, we've been able to build this platform, online platform that we provide information that will solve real life problems. And so today we'll be taking a look at some of the questions that students have actually asked with respect to the challenges they face. Go nowhere. After the short break, we'll be right back to begin to solve these problems. Mrs. Cynthia in Onitsha wrote to us and it says, my child has totally lost interest in school. So now that is what Mrs. Cynthia from Onitsha sent to us, and hopefully she'll be hearing us wherever she is now, and certainly she's going to receive answer from me as one of the coaches here. So today, Mrs. Cynthia, wherever you are, and every other viewer, wherever you are watching us from Facebook, from YouTube channel, and every other platform, please always be free to ask your questions and drop it. This is Personal Scope Learning Services Learning Court, and we hit straight to solve this problem. Mrs. Cynthia actually posted this, and could that actually be your challenge or the challenge of your child? So let's move straight to solving this problem right away. Most times, students have issues with learning. Not simply because they are not intelligent, not that they don't want to learn that particular thing, but just like the issue of Mrs. Cynthia's daughter, she finds it difficult to continue. More of like she's lost interest. Why this happens is what we want to share now, and that has to do with perception. There are 360-degree perception angle that I will show you. These areas are the areas where students have issues, and once it starts affecting that child in that particular angle, you discover that the child will begin to lose interest. Meanwhile, perception is as a result of what the mind thinks about a thing. Now, there are 4 angles. The first angle that if you're a parent out there, a guardian, a teacher, or even you as a student, you can do self-test on your own. But now, hear this. The first test that you should look at in this perception is the child's perception about the teacher. That's the first angle. Remember I said it's a 360-degree angle perception that you have to check before you can be able to conclude or solve that problem of that child. So now the first is, what is the child's perception about his or her teacher? Now, talking about teacher, we can also talk about lecturers, okay? Now, whenever a child have negative perception about his or her tutor, that's what we call the mind energies. The mind of a human being has energies, and these energies are magnetic in nature. It can be positive, it can be negative. So if a child have a kind of negative perception about a teacher or about a lecturer, it tends to control those energies. All right? So now, if you want to solve that problem, whenever your child loses interest in a particular thing, this is one thing you need to do. Sit the child down. But if you are the student, what you need to do is sit yourself down and check. First, what is my perception about this particular thing? Because perception changes with respect to what you see and what you hear. Perception changes with respect to what you see and with what you hear. So as a teacher, as a guardian, as a parent, you need to find out from that child what is your perception about your teacher. So now, on a general note, if you see a student who is having issues with learning, you need to check this test. Do perception test. The perception test is first from what is your perception about the teacher. If a child hates a teacher, there's no how he or she will flow with what the teacher is teaching. It has a way of building what we call negative thought hedge. Now, what negative thought hedge does is that it goes to affect the energies of the mind. Now, instead of the brain doing something, activating its power, the brain will be hampered by what the mind thinks about the teacher or lecturer. So one of the things you need to do to help someone who is losing interest in studying is first to take the perception test. What do you perceive about your lecturer or your teacher? Now, the second test that you need to conduct under perception diagnosis is what is the perception of the child about that course, or about that subject, or about that topic. Very, very important. This can go a long way to affect a child. So when a parent, a teacher, or a guardian, or even a student understands this, it goes a long way to help the person to know how to solve that problem. Now, Mrs. Cynthia said something. He said, my child lost interest and I don't know what to do. Now, Mrs. Cynthia, listen, something must have gone wrong. So check the perception of the child concerning that tutor. Find out from the child. Then the second thing you need to find out is what is the child's perception about that course. Now, most times, most students tend to give up because of what their peers told them about a course, about a subject, or about a topic. Now, it's hard. Mathematics is hard. Now, you see a child who is doing well in, for instance, in fraction or in quadratic equation. Now, coming to a point in complex numbers, coming to a point in other complex topics, the child will be like, I can't. Why? Not because the child cannot, but simply because of what his or her friends said concerning that course. So the next time you get this kind of complaint, call your child and run this second test, and that is the subject, topic, or course perception test. To know, did anybody say anything to you about this? Then find a way to speak up the energies of the person. These are the two angles amongst the four angles. In the next class, I'll be teaching the remaining two angles. So watch our videos, and then you subscribe to our YouTube channels, like, share, and then drop your questions that has to do with your challenge. In the next class, I will teach the remaining two angles of perception that every parent, guidance, teachers, or student should know to help solve the problem of a child. I'm Victor Mirak, an academic mind therapist at PSS Services. We are here to solve your real-life challenge in school, ranging from your studying to your communication and presentation, and then to your business angle. Thank you for watching our channel, and see you in the next class.